What went down Saturday at Soldier Field still has me shaking. A key player just revealed what went through their mind when they saw that 46-yard missile. In overtime, a play that was drawn up just 2 days before and changed everything. But hold up, because something wild showed up in the Pro Bowl voting. That could seriously hurt this franchise's credibility right when we need it most. And the most shocking part, a Green Bay legend, a straight-up God in Wisconsin, just admitted something about our quarterback that I never thought I'd hear. When a historic rival tips their cap to your guy, you know something special is happening in Chicago, something we haven't seen in decades. Stick around, because this changes everything. Let me tell you something a lot of people don't get about what happened Saturday night at Soldier Field. Cole Kmet just opened up about exactly what he felt when he saw Caleb Williams launch that 46-yard missile to DJ Moore to seal the win over the Packers in overtime. And folks, his words hit the nail on the head. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you, as a player out there, especially when you go into overtime and hit an explosive play to end it, you're thinking, thank God, it's over. Kmet said, man, what a game. It's already a super physical game through 4 quarters. And that kill shot at the end was unreal. Let me ask you something. When you saw that play, when you saw Williams drop back instead of handing it off to Swift or Monange, who were absolutely dominating on the ground, what did you think? Because I'll tell you right now, my heart almost jumped out of my chest. We had the momentum. We had the backs averaging over 4.5 yards per carry. And Ben Johnson decides to go for the kill shot. But here's the craziest part. That specific play, the kill shot, was drawn up just 2 days before the game, on Thursday. Williams sat down with Johnson and they added that play to the playbook 2 days later. It wins the biggest game of the season. To me, that shows something this organization hasn't had in years: confidence, boldness, the guts to go for the jugular when everything's on the line. Think about it. After we kicked the extra point to force overtime instead of going for 2, a lot of people thought Johnson was playing it safe, but nah. He was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. The 2-point conversion rate is under 50%. So I felt we had better than a 50% chance to win it in overtime. Johnson explained after the game. And he was right. The Packers got the ball first in OT, put together a decent drive. But Malik Willis fumbled the snap on 4th down. Turnover on downs. Bears ball. That's when the magic started. Swift for 5 yards. Monange for another 5. Soldier Field was going nuts. Everyone was thinking the same thing. We're gonna run it straight into the end zone. These Packers are gassed. Their defense is broken. Let me ask you, would you have kept running it there, or would you have trusted your rookie QB to throw a nearly 50-yard bomb? Because I'll tell you, when I saw Williams drop back, I almost screamed. But then boom, Moore gets separation, Williams drops a dime, and Chicago goes absolutely bonkers. 60,000 fans losing their minds, Kmet on the sideline with his arms in the air. And the Packers, crushed, done, destroyed. It's exciting to watch. Kmet added about the offensive balance. It fits our style and what we want to put on tape. It's been awesome to see Monange really become a premier back in this league. Honestly, we've got the really good backs and a 2-headed monster back there, and that's the key. Folks, this isn't the same weak offense we saw last year. This is an offense that can pound the rock when it wants to, hit kill shots when it needs to, and has a coach who's not afraid to take calculated risks in the biggest moments. But let me ask you this, are the Bears ready to do this consistently in the playoffs? Because it's one thing to pull it off once at home against the Packers. It's a whole different story to do it in San Francisco on Sunday night, or in the playoffs against teams like the Eagles or Seahawks. I think they are. I think this team has the pieces. They've got the run game with Swift and Monange. They've got receivers like Moore who can win one-on-one. And they've got a rookie quarterback who's got ice in their veins when it matters most. But here's the issue, and Kmet brought it up too. The penalties. 10 penalties for 105 yards against the Packers. 4 personal fouls. That's unacceptable if you want to be a championship team. Because against elite teams, you're not gonna survive those self-inflicted wounds. I'm telling you, if the Bears can clean up the penalties, keep this offensive balance, and keep hitting those kill shots when it counts, this offense is going to be dangerous in January. Because when you can run the ball like they're running it, and then hit a perfect deep shot out of nowhere, how do you defend that? Let me ask you, how many teams in the NFL right now have that kind of versatility? Maybe the Eagles, the Niners, when they're healthy, but the Bears, with a rookie quarterback, are already in that conversation. That's what's got me so fired up about this team. If that blew your mind, wait till you hear this, because what I just saw in the Pro Bowl voting left me completely shocked. 2 Bears players, and when I tell you who, you're gonna think I'm joking, ended up in the top 10 in fan voting at their positions. And no, I'm not talking about Caleb Williams or DJ Moore or Montez Sweat. I'm about Nick McCloud, the cornerback, and EIGHTH Place, and Dio Benedette, the offensive tackle. In 6th, let me ask you, are Bears fans completely insane, or what is going on here? Look, I respect these guys. To be on an active NFL roster, you've got to be one of the best in the world at what you do. You take any top college corner or tackle and line them up against McCloud or Benedette, they're getting embarrassed. That's a fact. But I'm telling you, among their NFL peers, these guys are not top 10 players, not even close, and the numbers back that up brutally. Let's start with McCloud. According to Pro Football Focus, when he's targeted this year, he's allowing a passer rating of 149.2. Let me say that again, 149.2. That's the 3rd highest mark in the entire NFL. Basically, every time a quarterback throws his way, it's almost a guaranteed touchdown. Now, to be fair, McCloud's been filling in for injured starters. It's not his fault he's had to play more snaps than he probably should. But let me ask you, is that enough to rank him as the 8th best corner in the league, ahead of guys who are locking down elite receivers week after week? And then there's Benedette. This one's even wilder. The guy hasn't played since week 11. He's been on the field for exactly 5 snaps since then. 5. And somehow he's 6th in voting for offensive tackles. When Benedette was starting early in the season, he struggled at left tackle. So much so that when he got hurt in week 12, it opened the door for fellow rookie Ozzy Trapilo to take over, and Trapilo hasn't looked back. He's been solid. He's protected Williams, and he's earned that job. So let me ask you, is Benedette really better than Lane Johnson of the Eagles? One of the best tackles of the last decade, a guy who's been to multiple Pro Bowls, a guy who's still playing at an elite level at 35. Bears fans voted Benedette ahead of him. I think this shows 2 things. First, the passion of the Bears fan base is unmatched. These fans love their team almost to the point of delusion. They'll vote for anyone wearing navy blue and orange because that's just how we roll in Chicago. And I respect that. But second, and this matters, it also shows that maybe, just maybe, some fans got a little carried away because the Pro Bowl, even if it's not what it used to be, should still represent the best players at each position. And look, I'm not trying to disrespect McCloud or Benedette. Like I said, just making it to the NFL is an incredible achievement. These guys have worked their whole lives to get here. They've beaten impossible odds. They deserve respect for that. But I'm telling you, when you compare their seasons to other corners and tackles around the league, it's not even close. They're not on the same level, and pretending they are doesn't help anyone. Now here's the interesting part. Other Bears players who do deserve to be in the Pro Bowl voting also showed up. And those names make a lot more sense. We're talking about guys who've dominated at their positions, who've been consistent, who've elevated this team. But let me ask you, what does this say about how the rest of the league sees the Bears? Because when they see these votes and see McCloud and Benedette in the top 10, they're probably laughing, probably thinking Bears fans don't know football. And I think that's unfair, because Bears fans do know football. This is a football city. This is the city of the monsters of the Midway, the 85 defense, Brian Urlacher, Julius Peppers, Khalil Mack. Fans here understand the game, but they're also passionate. Sometimes they're passionate, and when they see a chance to support their guys, they're gonna take it whether it makes sense or not. And honestly, I can't blame them for that. What worries me is this: when national media sees these votes, they're gonna use it as ammo to say the Bears and their fans aren't serious, that we're inflating numbers, that we're not objective, that we don't deserve to be taken seriously as contenders. And that pisses me off, because this team is serious. This team is 11-4. This team just beat the Packers in overtime with one of the most incredible plays of the season. This team has a rookie quarterback playing like a 10-year vet. So let me ask you, is it worth risking that credibility just to get to guys into the Pro Bowl who clearly don't belong there? I don't think so. I think fans should vote for the players who actually earned it and let their play do the talking. But now comes the really crazy part, because what I just heard from a Green Bay legend left me speechless. Brett Favre, the guy who tormented the Bears for nearly 2 decades. The guy who's a god in Wisconsin just admitted something about Caleb Williams that I never thought I'd hear. Caleb Williams, I wouldn't say I've been a harsh critic of him, but I really haven't said much about him. Favre admitted on his podcast Fourth and Favre, but man, that guy is making plays in the toughest situations, clutch throws, and I tip my hat. Let me ask you, when was the last time you heard Brett Favre tip his hat to a Bears quarterback? Because I'll tell you, in all my years following this team, I don't think it's ever happened. And don't get it twisted, this isn't just some casual compliment. This is coming from a guy who's seen everything in football, a guy who played 20 years in the NFL, a guy who won 3 straight MVPs, a guy who took the Packers to 2 Super Bowls and won one. When Brett Favre talks quarterbacks, people listen, but here's what really blew my mind. Favre admitted what he originally questioned about Williams. Leadership is what I think I question the most, not his talent. The guy is incredibly talented, the former Packer said, and there it is, folks, leadership. That's what we all question after last season, when Williams was sacked 68 times, the 3rd most in a single season in NFL history, when the Bears' offense looked lost, when the doubts started creeping in about whether this Heisman winner could really do it in the NFL. Let me ask you, how many of you doubted Williams after last year? How many thought maybe, just maybe, we made a mistake? Because I'll be honest, I had those doubts. I watched those games last year and wondered if this kid had what it takes. But then this season happened, and since week 9, Williams has been a different animal. 14 touchdowns to just TWO picks, 1,706 to 4 passing yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 receiving touchdown, and only 11 sacks in 8 games, and a 7-1 record in that stretch. Those guys made some incredible catches, and he made some incredible throws. Favre said about Saturday's game, when it was 16-6 with basically no time left, they found a way to get to overtime and win it. I mean, that was a tremendous throw, a tremendous catch, and Favre's right. That comeback was historic, down 16-6 with basically no time left against your most hated rival at home with the season on the line. And not only tying the game but dominating in overtime with that kill shot to Moore. I think that game changed everything, not just for the Bears, but for how the rest of the league sees Caleb Williams, because it's one thing to play well against bad teams, it's a whole different thing to rise up in the biggest moment against your biggest rival with everything on the line. The fact that they had a chance and took advantage of it, that's what it's all about, Favre added. And coming from him, those words mean everything. Because you know what the Bears have been missing in recent years, exactly that, taking advantage of clutch moments. How many times have we been on the wrong side of those moments? Just say the words double doink and you'll see a Bears fan lose their mind. But now, at 11-4, Williams and the Bears are in the driver's seat in the NFC. They've clinched a playoff spot. They can focus on locking up home field in the first round, and if the Seahawks slip up, maybe even snag the 1 seed in a first-round bye. Let me ask you, when was the last time we could even have this conversation about the Bears? When was the last time in December we were talking about seeds and buys instead of draft picks and coaching changes? But I'll tell you this, there are still 2 games left on the schedule, and they're not easy. Sunday night, Williams and the Bears head to San Francisco to face the Niners in prime time. Then they wrap up the season at home against Ben Johnson's old team, the Detroit Lions. And here's the real test, because it's one thing to beat the Packers at home in an emotional game. It's another thing entirely to go into San Francisco, a place where the Bears have historically struggled, and win on Sunday Night Football against the Niners team fighting for their playoff lives. I think Williams is ready. I think this team is ready, but more importantly, Brett Favre thinks Williams is ready. And coming from a guy who tormented the Bears for nearly 20 years, who knows this rivalry better than anyone, who understands what it takes to be great in this division that means everything, Favre ended by saying, Caleb Williams changed my perception of him after that Packers game. Let me repeat that. Brett Favre, Packers legend, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, has changed his opinion of our rookie quarterback. Let me ask you, if that doesn't give you chills, if that doesn't get you hyped about the future of this franchise, then I don't know what will. Because this is what we've been waiting for, a quarterback who can make the big plays, a coach who trusts him to make them, and the respect of the game's legends. The Bears haven't had this since, honestly, I don't even know when, maybe never in my lifetime. And now that we've got it, now that we finally have a real quarterback, a real leader, someone who can carry this team in January, we can't let it go. So I'm telling you, enjoy this moment. Enjoy what Caleb Williams is doing. Enjoy the Fact that Brett Favre is tipping his hat to a Bears quarterback. Because this is special. This is how dynasties start. So there you have it, folks. Cole Kmet revealing the truth behind that historic kill shot. 2 Bears players somehow cracking the top 10 in Pro Bowl voting. And Brett Favre admitting that Caleb Williams has completely changed his mind. But let me ask you, are the Bears ready to keep this momentum going in San Francisco on Sunday night? Can they clean up the penalties that nearly cost them the game against the Packers? And more importantly, is Caleb Williams really the franchise quarterback we've all been waiting for? Or are we getting carried away by a couple of good games? I think he's the real deal. I think Ben Johnson is the coach who's finally gonna bring the Bears back to glory. And I think this team has what it takes to make noise in January. But I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and let me know if you think the Bears can win in San Francisco. Tell me if you thought the Pro Bowl voting was ridiculous or if you're proud. The fans back their guys no matter what. And tell me, did Brett Favre really change his mind about Williams? Or did you already know our quarterback was special? And if you're part of this family, if you bleed navy blue and orange like I do, if you've stuck with this team through thick and thin, then I need you to do one thing for me. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel, because I promise you we've got more explosive Bears news coming tomorrow. And you do not want to miss what's next for Chicago. Because this isn't just a team, this is a family, this is a city, this is Chicago. And finally, after years of heartbreak, after years of disappointment, we've got something special. We've got a quarterback, we've got a coach, we've got a team. Bear down, Chicago. I'll see you in the next video.